And they're off. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Saratoga Racecourse. A delightful Thursday here at the spa. A mix of sun and clouds, temperatures in the 80s. The main track is fast, and the turf courses are firm. The portable rail is up at 27 feet on the melon turf and at 18 feet on the inner turf. We have a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of $1,080,254 with the 9-race card today. The Empire 6 will start in race number 4. And this reminder, there's a mandatory payout in the Empire 6 this coming Sunday, August the 9th. Right now, the changes for the Thursday card. In the first race, we have overweights. Numbers 3, 6, and 7 are 1 pound over, and number 5 will be 3 pounds over. Second race, scratch the 3, Malibu Mischief. Scratch number 3, and note that numbers 4 and 5 are 2 pounds over. Third race, scratch the 7, My Sacred Place. Scratch number 7, out of the third. The fourth race begins the Empire 6, and we have these scratches in the fourth. Scratch 1, Dr. Shane. 3, Honorable Hero. Scratch 8, Curlin's Legacy. 9, Fleet Admiral, and 13, Stony Bennett. Scratch 1, 3, 8, 9, and 13. In race 5, note that all horses will be carrying 1 pound over, and there are 2 scratches. Scratch 1A, Gone and Forgotten, and scratch the 9, Ruby Stiletto. Scratch 1A and scratch 9 from the 5th. Sixth race overweights, numbers 1 and 4 are 2 pounds over. No changes in the 7th race. The 8th race is the Cab Callaway division of the New York Stallion Series. And we have overweights, number 1, 1 pound over. Numbers 2, 3, and 6 are 2 pounds over. And in today's 9th race, scratch 2, Shiny Copper Penny. 11, The Rock Says, and 12, Polar Bear Pete. Scratch 2, 11, and 12, and note that number 8 is 2 pounds over. Main track fast, turf courses firm, jackpot carryover, $1,080,254 in the Empire 6, which today starts in race number 4. This reminder, Saturday is Run Happy Travers Day here at Saratoga, and we will have a special first race post of 12 noon. Here at Saratoga on Saturday, first race post at 12 noon, and we will have a 12-race card. Today's first race is at 1:10. We'll be back at 12:30 to recap the changes. Up next, the Thursday edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringWater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses, presented by Saratoga Water. I'm Andy Serling, soon to be joined by my good friend Anthony Stabile. Talk about today's Thursday card, a 9-race card here at Saratoga. Beautiful day. We are back on the turf today. Turf is listed as firm. We'll see as the turf race progressed. Obviously, we got a lot of rain. You saw how tremendously that main track dried, and that new main track continues to be the talk of racing, a tremendous surface. A lot of compliments for it at yesterday's Travers draw as we get closer to Travers weekend. We've got 9 to talk about today, and if you're not a member of NYRA Bets, seriously consider joining us at NYRA Bets. You support NYRA Bets, you support racing in New York, and I think there's nothing more than keeping the money in racing, not into situations where it goes to investors, where they're private companies. If you bet through NYRA Bets, all the money stays in horse racing, and horse racing is not a business that can afford to be siphoning money out of it. We need to put as much money into the game as we possibly can, and by playing through NYRA Bets, you are supporting racing in New York. Use the promo code SPA. We will match up to $200 of your initial bonus. NYRABets.com for more information. A lot of things going on at NYRA Bets on Thursdays. The late pick 5. Through the app only, if you hit it, you will participate in a $2,000 hit and split. I need to be the only winner of the late pick 5 today. Get that whole bonus, I think, to get even for the meet.
That's cash, by the way. That's not points.
That
That's
is cash.
money.
That's what that dollar sign means in front. Also want to remind people, Sunday, a mandatory giveaway for the assuming nobody takes down the carryover, which I think is well over $1 million after yesterday, we will be having a mandatory payout this coming Sunday. Also on Sunday and every Sunday, we'll be having the Saratoga contest through NYRA Bets. You must be a member of NYRA Bets. It's $250 to play. It's all cash prizes. And going forward the last 5 weeks, we will be seeding that pool, the contest pool, with $2,500 extra. Register now at NYRA.com/challenge. And finally, Saratoga Live. Don't want to miss it. Every day, all day on Saratoga Live. And remind people we will be on Big Fox, the Big Fox network throughout the country from 5 to 6:30, covering the Travers and the 2 races leading up into it. Anthony, how are you today? You're looking sharp today.
If you don't get Fox locally, you can check MSG Plus and MSG, because yesterday got bumped from MSG Plus and was on regular MSG.
Wow.
I found it in the hotel room. So yeah. Going to want to tune in.
You're
Big
really
Fox
sharp today. You're looking good today. What's going on? Special day?
We try. I'm sorry.
Well, we have a big dinner date.
I got a date tonight. Yeah,
dinner.
Big dinner tonight.
Big dinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
We were talking before you came on the air about your.
I'm learning from Anthony.
So the bottle handling. What I said to Andy was, you need to hold it like I'm going to turn it sideways. Sorry, Adam. Like a bunt. You're going to bunt. And Andy apparently doesn't know how to bunt.
Shocking. Well, by the way, nobody in the major leagues knows how to bunt either.
Well,
so I don't think I'm really. I'm in a pretty exclusive
This is what
club.
I'm trying to say. You probably would have had a use right now.
Things could have been different for me.
Guys are dropping out of the league left and right. We could have, they could have used you.
Things could have been so different.
Could have used you. We could have used you. Could have used you in 06.
Right. The problem is I can't get down the base path. So not only couldn't I bunt,
I just need you to sacrifice those guys over in 06.
Okay. Well, I couldn't do that either.
Put Cliff Floyd up and he struck out.
Anthony's heartbreaking.
I don't want to talk about
2006 in the Mets.
I'm having flashbacks to 06.
It's not easy being Anthony. Race number 1
not easy
today.
Being a Mets fan.
We'll take a look at Macho Jack's last race at Keeneland, and this was in October on a sloppy track. And obviously, if Macho Jack is still the horse that he was in his prior 2 races, his only 2 dirt races, he's way the horse to beat. But he was entered in scratch, I think, for $40,000 earlier. And I think there is some reason to be a little bit concerned about whether or not he's going to run his best race. I put him on top, but I can understand having some trepidation about it.
Yeah, 9 months away. First time Rudy now. Rudy usually moves him up. Got decent enough numbers. Moving horses up the last couple of years, right
You've
around
picked against him
17%. That's 1 for 6. I did. I took one little shot because I don't like the layoff. I don't love the layoff. Like you, I thought he was into. My mind was.
Is there a
was
negative
little,
from Rudy on this horse you want to share?
No.
Okay.
No. My mind, I actually thought this horse was entered in specially, but I think you're right. He was just entered for a higher
I think
tag.
40.
Yeah, and now he's in for the 20. I kind of think with a layoff like this, whatever race comes up is where you're going to run him, but don't like the fact that he came out of the 40. Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't put it that way. I think it's important to note the negatives. They are what they are. People can decide for themselves, but he was still
The
at a
layoff
higher
really
price.
bothers me. The layoff probably bothers me the most.
Right. Michelle Nevin, who trains Cause I Said So, does have very good numbers cutting back maidens overall. Problem I have with Cause I Said So is I remember these fields this horse ran against in the winter. They were not good. And
They were
think
awful fields.
that he looks a little better than he is. I still put him second, and I think they're the right 3 horses. Dale Romans. Is Dale here? I hear he was on some sort of champions or something last night. How did they not ask you if they had champions?
I don't know. I was going to say the same thing.
why
I did not ask you.
boycotting.
You're a Saratoga native. I'm a shipper.
You're a carpetbagger.
I'm a
Term is
carpetbagger. Yeah, I'm a shipper.
I'm not a native. I moved here when I was 11.
You were here for how
A
long?
long time ago. They were
Yeah,
still
so
using horse-drawn cut.
That's what I'm
carriages
saying.
up here, yeah.
Right. You remember when Pikes Peak was a pimple, so it's...
Race number 2. The Kyoto situation comes up in race number 2.
It does.
And Kyoto ran second at 65 cents the dollar last time, and Jade's Jelly ran third. I'm not sure Jade's Jelly didn't run the better race. We'll take a look at those horses as they come down the stretch on July 3rd at Belmont Park. And I know Kyoto got it for second, and, we talked about it before the race. I couldn't find an alternative. You couldn't find an alternative. But the reality is that Kyoto was a horse who was always very marginal, was claimed by Jason Service. She turned into a stakes horse from being a very marginal runner. And even in the tutelage of Chad Brown, she turned back into a pumpkin. And she may well win this race, but I couldn't put her on top at a super short price again. I just couldn't do it, Anthony. And I could have picked against last time. I never would have picked the winner last time, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
So I couldn't have come up with her.
Yeah.
But so I just
came up with her.
switched the order of the 2 logical horses because it's like I hope she runs well for Chad and Mike Dubb. I really do, but I can't put her on top.
Yeah, I went back.
I'm sure you weren't thrilled about doing it either.
I wasn't, but again, and I do believe you picked the only horse you could put on top if you're not going to put her on top.
Seems like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, she did a little bit more running because she was involved from the bell, whereas
Leslie's
Kyoto
having a great meet, by the way.
Yeah, he
How
is.
live
Everything's
is he?
running.
Everything he's running is running.
Even when they don't win, everything's running.
No, he's been super live.
I agree.
A lot of guys really doing well at this meet.
Yeah.
They really are. I mean, a lot of guys performing well, and I think it's making it. It's interesting. It's interesting at the top.
Yeah. Jockeys and the
Let me
trainers.
ask you a question. Who's the favorite to win the trainer's title right now?
I was having a discussion about this on Monday and Tuesday, 2 separate
Is
discussions.
Chad Brown still favored? I think he is.
If you
I
want
know
to
that
bet,
sounds
if you want
crazy,
to bet,
but I think he
if you
is.
want to bet against them, you can come see the Big A.
Well, I mean, but it's not just Christophe. Now, as much as I
not.
respect Mike Maker, we'll see if Mike can keep it up. But he's obviously got a lot of horses, and he's doing great. Todd is ahead of Chad as well, and he's perennially a danger. And listen, we'll see if Clement can keep it up. But it's a barn that's having a tremendous meet. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. It's a tough number to make.
It's
a tough number to make.
I'd bet my money on Chad Brown.
I understand, but that's not the point. The point is whether or not he's favored, not whether or not you or I would bet him.
Is he favored? I think he still has to be favored.
It's close.
I do think he still has to be favored.
It's like when you talk about, a heavy favorite is 10 points down at halftime in a basketball game. Are they still favored? It's interesting conversations.
Yeah.
I wonder what the line would be on that.
I think he's still
Should we ask
favored.
Aragona?
If Aragona wants to make a line, and if I can find 6-5 on Chad Brown, I'd like to bet as much as I possibly can, please.
6-5?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chad will give it to you as a hedge. It's a 4-horse race, and you're telling me he's 6-5.
It's a 4-horse race,
not
but
6-5.
he has.
He may be favored. He might be 2-1.
He has the ammo.
You think Todd Pletch doesn't have ammo?
I do, but
you think Christophe doesn't have some ammo?
I do, but I think if you combine the fact that the barn's in a little bit of a slump, that it eventually ends. Those slumps end.
I don't disagree. I'm
right?
not, but I think for you to say though that he's 45% to win the meet right now is overdoing it. That's what I'm saying. You've got 4 guys with legitimate chance. I think he might be 35%.
But of those 4 guys, who has the chance to win 4 and 5 in one day and make up the? Yeah.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think that you are vastly underrating some
I
of
like it too much to take your money, or I'd take the 6 to 5.
I'm not rooting against friends of mine. Listen, I'm happy to see any of them win. They all do a terrific job. And I think, Christophe, by the way, it's not like Christophe doesn't deserve a little good luck this year, because he certainly had more bad luck than any other trainer in the game this
They're
year.
all fantastic horsemen. Right. But I'm just saying.
He's not 6 to 5, Anthony. You need to get your math straight. And I think he would agree with that. He'd like to hope he is, but even he would say 6 to 5. I don't know. Star of the West in race number 3. We'll take a look at him winning 2 back as we move on to race number 3. I don't want to take this horse, but Irad's just supposed to put him on the lead, and the race is supposed to be
over. And that's it.
I mean, with the 7
especially
scratching
with
from
the
here,
scratch, right?
I didn't really like the 7, but he was clearly the other horse in the race.
I picked him.
This is going to be 3 to 5 or 2 to 5 here.
I picked it chalky. I wind up scratching into more chalky because I would think no more miracles.
I got a weirdo horse in here.
Is the
I saw it all.
Is it your?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've seen it all.
Okay.
You'll
never see it all. I say that all the time. We will never see it. You think you've seen it all, and then 2020 came. You think you've seen it all, my friend?
I never thought I'd see somebody tell me that Chad was 45% to win the meet today.
Here we go.
You're right. So you're right. Maybe now I've seen it all. This horse actually ran okay 2 back. Are you going to tell me his race 2 back isn't good enough to be second here, the favorite? And he just got completely eliminated at the start last time out. I think this horse is a little bit interesting. I think he's going to run well today. I'm going to make a big box and then 2-6 and a little bit of win on the 6 at a price.
Okay.
Because the 2-1's going to be super short.
Now, in a situation like this, you come back with a stronger 2-6?
Oh, yeah, much stronger. I mean, let's say, I would say 70%, 60 to 70% of my play would be 2-6.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's the number. I don't think it's going to be paying a fortune.
You always got to make the win bet if the horse is going to be 10, 12 to 1, though, because in case the favorite doesn't fire at all,
it's very small.
You don't want to lose everything.
Race number 4 lost a big player when Dr. Shane came out.
Yeah.
1 mile.
I was ready to make a nice little bet on Dr. Shane for
when we've gotten
today.
rain earlier, good scratch for Anthony. When we've gotten rain earlier, the inner turf has dried less quickly than the outer.
Yeah.
Are the rails down?
I don't know.
If the rails are
Phil
down...
Phil was asking me that the other day.
I thought I saw them taking them down. Maybe they were moving them. They may be moving them out. If the rails are down, it would be for the first time in the meet. I don't think Glenn would take them down after we got the rain, though. But maybe...
That's what Phil was at. Phil asked me that. He's like, I don't think the rails have been down the whole meet.
Phil and Steve are like Lars from Mary Tyler Moore Show and stuff. They're like the characters that nobody knows in the show. Do they really exist?
And Phil was more of like a weekend warrior because Phil had a 9 to 5. And now Phil works for sanitation department in the city, so his hours are a little different, so he can watch more, he can pay attention more, and obviously with his Naira Bets app, he watches it on his phone. That's a tough job. You think you and I get away with it? I don't want to talk about those sanitation guys. Anyway.
Yeah, they seem to work hard to me. I'm
watch
not
it on the
knock
phone.
Guys that work like that.
Watch it on the phone. No, I'm kidding, obviously. Phil's, but, they watch it on the phone. He picked up on it. He said, I haven't seen the rails go down. I don't know. It's not like there's a big turf
I saw them moving
weekend.
them. I don't know if they're moving them out. We'll take a look afterwards. I'll put it out on Twitter. Let's take a look at Catch a Cab winning and beating Mission Command. Catch a Cab is just way the horse to beat in this race. I'll tell you one thing. Irad Ortiz ends up on a lot of very short-priced horses.
He does. Maybe pad his 3-win lead over Joel Rosario and 4 over his brother Jose.
I'm not giving up on those guys.
No.
Particularly Jose.
Yeah. Now, that's one where I couldn't give you any kind of a line.
Well, Irad's a big favorite, obviously. Again, when he rides horses like this, when you're riding 2 or 3 relative layups a day, it's very hard to lose the title. And Irad rides an inordinate amount of short-priced horses.
Now, Catch a Cab's coming back in a week.
Well, that's because they didn't realize they were going to run a 25. Probably wouldn't have run the other day if he knew this race was coming.
Right.
I highly doubt that Michael Dubb would have had this horse run a week earlier if he knew this race was coming up.
I don't disagree with that. I wonder. I mean, this horse ran into Rinaldi last time.
I don't care. I thought that win that we looked at, I didn't think it was that impressive. That field was awful. And, Honorable Hero is scratched out of the race.
Oh, the race two back. Yeah, the race two back.
The rails are 18 and 27, so they're way out.
Okay.
Steve checked in. Phil didn't know, but Steve did. See, that is the quality of difference here. I'm just pointing it out.
What
Sorry, Phil.
What do we?
Anybody that's a good friend of the Big A's is a friend of mine.
What do we do? I mean, what do you do with the week? Like you said, that
I don't
field.
worry that much about the
That
week.
field 2 starts back. He was 4 to 5. In hindsight, he should have been 2 to 5.
Well, especially because Honorable Hero can't run anymore.
Right.
I thought Honorable Hero
He's
actually
running
had a shot
Saturday,
there.
I
He's
think.
just been bad. I think Calculated Risker is very interesting for one of the greatest trainers in the history of horse racing, Ray Handel.
Ooh.
One with 2 firsters of the meet. Ray's got it all going
Al
on.
Gold, yes. Al Gold coming in with the first thing. Al Gold gave us the info yesterday.
Oh, yeah, he told us that, you're right, he did, yeah.
Rosa Veloce.
Yeah, he couldn't run, and he said that Ray could run. You're right. Finally, Al proved himself useful. It's taken long enough, hasn't it? Jeez. Calculated Riskers turf races are really not that bad if you go back, and I recommend people take a look. If you can go back and use Formulator, you can take a look. This horse's turf races aren't bad. His form is okay recently. I know he's an into mischief, but he ran okay on the turf, and I don't love Catch a Cab, and I think he is so clearly the only other horse in the race you really want. Though I do think it's important to note that the also eligibles get in.
Yeah.
I don't think Good Old Boy ran against a particularly good field last time. I thought it was a very, very weak bunch down at Gulfstream. But he's obviously not impossible. And even Nuts for Bolts dropping down the 12. I think he's reasonable as well. I don't think they draw particularly well in here, but you can't say that either one of these horses can't win.
No, they absolutely can win. Now, we haven't seen Good Old Boy for almost a year. It's 11 days shy of a year. But he was running, and again, the New York bred program is at a point where I don't think even the supporters ever thought it would get to the point. But this horse was still running against open company down at Gulfstream. And I know the bottom at Gulfstream, those fields aren't that tough, but this is not the toughest $25,000 state bred race this horse is going to find. The post is not good. But I think you have to think about using him. What about Pipes? You got him 4th. I put him 3rd. Can he get towed into the race by Hushin and just kind of like trip out behind Hushin?
Wait a second. All right, did Big Mountain scratch?
Oh, and Big Mountain, too. That might give him an even better setup, doesn't it?
By the way, Mike Luzzi, who rides Hushin, was sitting next to me at dinner last night with his wife, Tanya.
Day before. I don't
So
know if
does
it counts.
that
I don't
doesn't
know if
fall
it
into your
counts.
category?
No, it's morning of.
It's got to be the day of. By the way, I just want to point out, I got a text from our friend Paul LaDuca who said, tell Anthony it wasn't my fault.
Oh, it absolutely wasn't his fault. He worked out.
2006 Mets.
Paul LaDuca worked out the greatest walk.
He said he hasn't.
Before we've talked about this a million times. Before Beltran struck out looking, didn't take the bat off his shoulders, get me disgusted early in the morning. Paul worked out an amazing, I think it was an 8 or a 9 pitch walk. He fouled a couple of pitches off, really, really dug in to load him back up. All this guy had to do was put one into the right field bleachers.
And as Paul added to it, he's right. He hasn't seen a bunt in 2 years. So maybe you're right. I don't know, Paul. Do you think is it too late for me to get into the major leagues? Maybe I could be a designated bunter.
Just a bunter. Yeah, man. I'm telling you.
I know spring training will be a problem.
Give Brian Spagnuolo a call. Brian Spagnuolo from America's Pastime. He has a minor league baseball team up here. He could probably start training you.
Even for this ridiculous place, there's supposed to be some pace in here. I mean, you would think. I don't think Hushin's in here to rate. I don't think Big Mountain is in here to rate.
Hushin's probably the speed of the speed because he's a sprinter.
I agree.
But
I agree.
Big Mountain's supposed to try to get over the top on some of the other horses in here. I think Pipes might work out a good trip in here.
Yeah, Pipes not impossible. No, I agree. Pipes is fine.
This is a race where Catch a Cab's probably going to be close to even money now. I don't think he's anywhere near reliable, and I want to spread a little.
I agree. I agree. I think this
wound up picking
and
him,
the A's, both A's getting in can win this race.
Yep.
And they made the race tougher for Catch a Cab. Obviously, Dr. Shane coming out, but Dr. Shane's not really a router, even though he won going long in Florida in that fake non-route race. But that was a mile race, 7.5 furlongs with a run up of about 3 miles or something. I think they started on Hollandale Beach Boulevard.
I like in the DRF they actually put the start in the same place for the 7.5 and the mile.
They do.
They put it in the same exact place. Yeah. There's no 16th of a mile differentiation.
Horsemen, because they tell you it's 7.5, doesn't mean it's 7.5. Race number 5. Let's take a look at the whole race that Lollygag ran. I love that. That's a great name for a horse, by the way. Lollygag.
That's part of Bull Durham.
My horse is in Saratoga. Let's watch because this horse actually has speed. I mean, this horse is not particularly slow, and I think it's important to note that. You know, I really think that this was a New York bred that probably needed a race. Not Julian, excuse me, it was Florent Giroux. Somebody said to me on Twitter that criticized Florent Giroux's ride. I don't agree with that. I think this was a horse that probably needed a race, a New York bred that they expected to come to Saratoga with. Not that they wouldn't try to win this race if they could, but I think they probably knew he needed one. I think this was by design, and this horse did some running in the race.
I also think when people see a horse break sharply and then back out of there, it's automatically the rider's fault. Oh, he broke so well, why didn't he just go on with it? Well, I think it's a great sign the horse broke well, but obviously, horse doesn't have a lot of early speed.
I don't know if this horse doesn't have a little more early speed.
You think he did any?
I think he took this horse out.
You do?
I'm not saying he's in front
then they
today.
have a right to complain about the ride.
No, I don't think so. I think the ride was intention. I think he was told to ride that way, and he wanted to ride that way. I don't think this horse is going to be in front, but I think that she will be much more forwardly placed today.
And for those of you not familiar with Mike and Penny Lauer, Mike wins a lot of races at Indiana Grand.
Mike's a good trainer.
Mike's a good trainer. Mike wins a lot of races at Indiana Grand. Has a lot of Indiana breds. This one's a New York bred. He has a lot of New York breds and a lot of Indiana breds. And it makes sense. We see him ship here every year, Belmont and Saratoga mostly. And this horse makes a lot of sense today.
David's got the 6 Guardian Moon, the favorite, because he thinks that Jorge Abreu is the greatest 2-year-old turf trainer of all time.
The first is a run. I mean, everything's running.
I agree, but this horse is going to be favored over a horse with experience? I don't know about that.
I mean,
I'm skeptical.
Well, here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
I'll give it to you. I laid it up for you. I don't think a lot of people.
Here's the thing.
I think people are going to gravitate towards who they know in Jorge Abreu over Mike Lauer. I think it's plain and simple here. You see Rosario climbing aboard with the hot start. You know that the firsters have been running. He's won with 2 firsters. One got disqualified. So I think people are going to gravitate towards Guardian Moon, and I agree with David. I think he's going to be the favorite.
Okay. How about a stat for Linda Rice, who scratched the 1A Gone and Forgotten running, is it Niji?
Niji.
There's some pedigree. This horse has had 3 turf winners to try it. One was very good, so there's pedigree.
Yeah.
How about that?
Horse named Meal Ticket who won $250,000 on the turf.
They usually need a race.
They usually need a race.
I'll tell you the horse that really...
Like all the Linda firsters, they usually need a race.
The horse that really interests me is Kara's Dreamer for Mitch Friedman.
The 2 big, yes.
There's plenty of turf pedigree in that
Plenty of turf pedigree. And this is the first real,
I'm going to use that horse.
Me too. This is the first real turf sire.
Yep.
The mares visited.
Yep.
So, and the other horses have run well on the turf, and now some influence from the factor. Yeah.
What's going on with Eric Cancel? He rode so well at Aqueduct. I know the Colony's tougher here, but the ride yesterday in the 8th.
The Colony's tougher.
But the ride yesterday on the second choice in the 9th race. What was he doing with that horse? Why was he taking the horse back so dramatically to start before his field? Why was he rushing?
Listen, I don't defend
Eric's
riders.
A better rider than this.
She's quirky, She kind of did that
Eric's
crow hop at the beginning.
Rider than this. He needs to get back to being more aggressive, letting his horses get into the game.
I don't disagree.
And he rode the Siaka
And listen,
horse.
that's not a knock.
I'm not trying to knock Eric. Eric can ride.
That's not a knock either. It's also not. We're not singling out Eric. I think aggression is a good thing for all the riders. Just be a little bit more aggressive. Like we see some paces around here. I was talking to Louis Lasnaro the other night with Amano. I mean, when did you ever think you would see 118 on a turf course that hadn't had rain in forever? 130. I mean, they went 118, 52, 118 for 6 furlongs in a maiden race at Saratoga.
It's silly.
I don't know how these horses are. That's bogged.
I don't know how horses are
days.
helped by being overly rated in these races. I'm going to share some information with you. David believes that Todd Pletcher is currently a slight favorite in the trainers race. If you look at the number of starters, it's closer than you realize.
Okay.
I'm just telling you. So he is making lines in the trainer race.
Okay.
All right. What else? Anything else? No. Should we take a break?
I think that's it. Yeah, I need
Hear
some
from
more.
Our friends at Saratoga.
Bunting. Just your finger should
you
not
could have been
appear.
so wealthy as a hand model.
Let me tell you something, okay? I'll tell you a couple of things.
So different.
I could have been a fantastic hand model, number one. But I'll tell you the other thing. I was the best bunter on my baseball team because all you have to do with the bunt is behind the bat. So you don't remember when David Cohn broke his pinky?
Yeah, like was yesterday.
I mean, ridiculous stuff. Look, just like that. Beautiful. I like the still. Andy likes the sparkling. We'll be enjoying it tonight with dinner as well.
I'd like to take a break.
Go ahead. I was just showing off the proper way to display the product placement.
We'll be right back.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringWater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. He is the Big A, Anthony Stabile. I'm Andy Serling. Thursday, Travers Week, continuing along. Race number 6.
Run Happy Travers Week.
The Run Happy Travers. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Race number 6, let's take a look at the even money morning line favorite. I think the odds will be closer than David's line, but we'll see. Gesture, this is breaking her maiden at Tampa. Jonathan Thomas is a trainer that seems to be either putting up tremendous stats or very, very, very mediocre stats.
You could throw him a very in there if you like.
Yeah, it's right now it's on the very, 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 very mediocre stats. His horses are just not doing much running, and his horse went off. She may win because there's nothing going on in this race, but I don't know. I've got her second. I'm not going to be shocked when she wins, but man, is she a tough horse to take at a short price.
Yeah. And the other part of this is, and I know I didn't really. There's only 3 older horses in here. She's been facing straight 3-year-olds as well in her races.
Here.
But the older in here. The filly she ran second to last time. Don't get cozy when I cover Red Brand Radio on the air on HRN.
She came back to win. She brewed her by her 11 points.
She wins, and she's very competitive in the the straight 3-year-old races down there for the 25. Excuse me.
She has a weird series of numbers, though, Anthony.
She
ran a 66, 65, 66. She got a 72 winning this race. Then she got an 83, and then she ran a 64. So I'm skeptical when I see her.
She had that. Yeah. She almost runs to her competition. It's really strange. I know because they're not supposed to know that, but she almost runs, and she wins on the lead. She wins from off the pace. So she's a little bit of a wild card whenever she steps on the racetrack. She's won from like right on the lead, and she's won from 12 back. But she is competitive in those types of races that Gesture was running against. I did find it strange that she made a trip over to Gulfstream Park, right? Because most of these horses, you see a lot of Jonathan Thomas horses, Tampa to Belmont or Tampa to here. We've seen him run some more
no races for her.
Right. Or was he thinking about just leaving her in Florida? And I think that's a bad sign. And it's the main reason I picked it. That trip over to Gulfstream is the main reason I picked against her.
I'm going to show you why I picked Wicked Title in here, this trainer stat. Horses that were claimed off of Chad Summers over the last 3 years, they are not only 7 for 14 winning. This is on the dirt. All 14 have hit the board. Linda Rice claimed this horse. She took money in that flashback and Barbie race, who came back and ran well, though Rousey didn't. And I'm just going to trust in Linda Rice with that stat to get this horse to improve. And I think Wicked Title, I won't be surprised when Wicked Title's favored in here. It's going to be close.
I was a little surprised by the morning line.
Well, David's usually right.
I know.
She has big
off
figures,
the claim.
Gesture.
I thought off the claim and the drop. Now, she is dropping this horse. She is dropping this horse.
I know, I agree. Or drawing away is dropping. I agree. I don't love the drop, but, they win the whole thing, get claimed. They come out a winner. But I agree. I don't love the drop.
It was hard for me to really like Gesture on top, and I have nowhere else to go.
Like La Negrita, tough horse to put on top.
I came close to putting La Negrita on top.
So of course you did.
I came close.
But you've got her fourth. You've got Intoxicologist, who couldn't have been worse last time. How bad was Intoxicologist last time?
Bad. I'm hoping she just got run off her feet a little bit. They went pretty quick early for this caliber, and now she's cutting back to 7.
She was bad. We need to get Charlie Baker in the winner's circle. He's run very.
He hasn't run a lot of horses.
Very few. I've seen him around, but he's run very. The 7th race today is a very competitive race and not an easy race, even though we chalked out in there. And we'll take a look at. Let's talk about Dinah Passer. I just thought Dinah Passer might be the best horse in the race.
Yeah, she's She runs well at the marathon.
No replays at the start.
Oh, okay. She runs well at the marathon distances. You know, her record here, she's got a win in a couple of thirds. She runs well at a mile and a half. She has a win on a card at a mile and a half. She's just...
Well, she's the one who's run the best races in the marathon distance race. That's the point with her.
Yeah.
I thought, you know, that's why I thought she was just the worst to beat.
You feel like, at least I feel like you can rely on her.
She's a half too.
My boy Sadler's Joy.
Your boy?
Love Sadler's Joy. I you know how you talk about fan clubs? I would be the president of the Sadler's Joy fan club.
Really?
Yeah. I love Sadler's Joy. It's fantastic, Sadler's Joy. I remember telling Tommy Albertrani walking out of Belmont when he won the A other than or the 2 other than, you got a really good, really nice stakes horse on your hands. Leave me alone. You got a really good stakes horse on your hands. And I was right for once. And we always talk about that, and I love Sadler's Joy. Little Sis is starting to climb the ladder, I think. I think she's going to be okay maybe later on this year into next year's stakes. They're keeping Sadler's Joy around. Might as well keep
What are they going to do with him?
Dynapasser around. He's full.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a big stallion career ahead of him.
Oh,
much as I like him, and he's a really
I
cool horse. I'm scared of Mighty Scarlet. The problem is that Mighty Scarlet couldn't win for Chad Brown.
Correct.
Nacho's here, Correas. He's got a nice horse in tomorrow.
And do we really think this horse wants more ground?
Well, that's the question. But she ran fine last time out. She was on top of the pace. I think she's run well. I actually liked her a little bit and needed her for second 2 races back. I think Mighty Scarlet's okay. She consistently runs well. I don't know if she does. And the fact that Chad Brown didn't stretch her as much does make me wonder. But she didn't run that badly in the Belmont Oaks in a mile and a quarter. I thought she was dangerous in here. I like her. I almost put her on top, actually. She doesn't win.
Interesting.
That's the problem.
I thought about putting Iliad.
Why? She was awful last time.
I know
dude.
she was, but don't you kind of think she's a horse that just needs more real estate?
No.
No.
I don't know. Maybe she
won
does.
going a mile and a half. She was second in a mile and a half.
At the Toulouse.
Okay,
not exactly top-level racing,
but
with all due respect.
And I understand.
And
you've
Jonathan
helped
Kinchin,
me.
who lied yesterday in the show about seeing French movies.
He blew him up.
That,
I love it.
After that, I know.
I respect both of you. I respect him.
I don't respect Jonathan.
I
he
respect
fooled
him.
me, and I feel burned.
He
had really grown in my esteem, and now
I respect him for trying to pull the Fugazi on you, and I respect you for blowing up the Fugazi.
There was no chance, that guy.
Her races.
He's out.
Her races, she's competitive at these distances. Now, you can say, well,
she was awful last. She didn't do a stitch of running.
But, Andy, she's never, that was the
first
time,
you know what I mean? You're right.
She might just need more. She might need the race. It was 8 months.
She was fourth in the Group 3 at Chantilly.
Yeah. I mean, look, We Gets the Monies came back and was completely up against it pace-wise and ran third.
After getting left.
North Sahara got beat in a photo finish to Villadera in the De La Rose. What are you giving me the face for?
Nah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Villadera came here and ran behind Newspaper of Record.
I've got her third. It's not as though I don't see your points here a little bit. Mike Beer made Tass his best bet of the day. She got a gold rail when she won a mile and 3/8 at Aqueduct. I didn't like her. I mean, it's not impossible, but...
No, she's not impossible. She's won at the distance. You know, that's the one that we talk about aggression. You know one thing. He's going to put her on the lead. The only problem is, and I know Tazara, the number 2, came from off the... I know that because I bet on Fashionable Lady. She came from off the pace.
I don't think Tazara's impossible stretching out.
Can't she get in front of Tass? I mean, she's fast.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
She's probably faster than Tass.
Can she? Yes.
But I think Kendrick would. No, I don't think she will.
You're right that she can.
But I cannot imagine Ricardo Santana Jr.
off the turf race where you had the pace wrong. But that's all right.
I can't imagine Ricardo Santana Jr. is going to let Tass get away.
No. You're right. You're absolutely right. And listen, Ian Wilkes' horses are running. She's improving. I didn't love her, but Raison de Tot, my Travers pick over Stay Thirsty. He was last.
Got shut out because of Hurricane Irene.
I also want to talk about Hungry Kitten. Now, this one I got wrong. I thought you would put Hungry Kitten on top. The problem I have.
But you put the video so far down.
There is a possibility that this horse is just better with distance. And I don't want to be dismissive of Sugar. I picked her 5th. I mean, I honestly, I think a lot of horses can win this race. I just thought this field she beat was so hungry.
You know who she could be?
Who
she can be like a control, like a focus group. where she just needs the distance races, where it's like it's a
Was
simple
Focus
math
Group ever really
equation.
that good, or did Chad Brown just get him to run a better race?
He got him to run better races, but he was the kind of horse where if he ran at 1 mile and 3/16, you wanted to book
that
every
was
dime
some
on him.
field that she beat last time. The 1-5 favorite didn't even run a
Ebony,
step.
was it Ebony?
Yeah, she came back and didn't run a step. I think here, right? She run
Yeah.
here? And so it was sort of a non-field, but maybe she got better with distance. It's a tricky race.
What does the Shark say? Came back and didn't run very good. Yeah.
What does a shark say? That shark?
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I felt the same way
race
about
number
her.
8. Anthony, I've thought about it long and hard as we move on to race number 8, and I've decided that Anthony stuck his finger into a light socket or something.
Why?
Before he made his picks for this race, and that's why he picked a horse that. How can you like this horse?
Okay.
How could you
Now,
possibly like
this
horse?
is two. This
I
is
know you
two-pronged.
love Rudy, and maybe
This
you
is
want to hurt his
two-pronged.
feelings.
This is two-pronged.
There wasn't a 3-prong
This
light
is
socket you
two-pronged.
stuck your finger in?
No,
Was
it's
it 2-pronger?
two-pronged. This is two-pronged. I actually have an adapter because most of my 3 prongs only
I got a
work
text from a
2
friend of mine that said Anthony didn't really pick Dream Bigger.
Okay.
I said he did.
He is going to be in front.
First of
Hold
all,
on.
it's not clear he's faster than
He's
the 6.
going to be in front.
Second of all, who cares?
Hold on a second. He's going to be in
Who
front.
cares?
And the two horses that make the most sense in here are a filly.
It's 2-1 morning line, this horse.
Well, I didn't know that was going to happen either, and I do not think
There's a lot of people that will misread this race like you.
I don't think he will be a shorter price than Fresco. I just
Anthony, you're badly misjudging
Christophe
Fresco.
Clement and Arado
You're
Ortiz Jr.?
badly misjudging Fresco. You are badly misjudging Fresco.
What do you mean by that?
Okay. She's not that good. She beat a non-field last time. Do you remember
I
the
don't
beat these
disagree,
horses
but
she
I
beat
think
last time?
people are going to
It's a
see
joke.
that it was a Stallion Series race,
Against
and they're
Phillies.
going to see
Should
it's
be Nicky
Christophe.
Scissors.
Listen, you and I know that, and I agree with you. But
Dream Bigger is going to be bet because he's got fast figs and he's been running in nothing but stake races.
he is going to be in front.
So what?
He's running against a filly and a horse that's shipping up from Ellis who ran 12 days ago.
Let's show that horse, Jolting Joe, shipping up from Ellis, who overlays this field so badly. It's almost embarrassing. This horse has run against some real horses. He wasn't
I'm
even
not
favored in this
saying-
maiden race. You know who Parkland's a half to?
I know he's a half to something like
It's half
Al
to
Brown.
little Mike.
Little Mike.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, I know Jolton Joe's a maiden, and to be fair, he is 4 times second and 4 starts, and he's been some short prices. You're not wrong. He lost to King Guillermo, number 1. who
Yeah,
turned
and
around
our
and-
collector. I mean, I know his form. He's got a very nice resume. I'm
I
not
think
saying he
should
doesn't.
be 4 to 5 in this race.
And he's got a ship for a second start off of a
For that
long enough
idiot
layoff.
Mike Baker. Mike
Andy,
knew this race was coming up when he ran.
I'm
this
very
race.
well aware. This horse is off an 8-month layoff. For the second time, has to ship and run back in 12 days. Look, I did not see the morning line.
But okay,
you
okay.
think they're going to be that close?
Okay,
You don't think Jolton Joe's even money in here?
He should be. I don't think. Okay, you've picked Jolton Joe second, but it's fine. If you have a problem with Jolton Joe, why dream bigger? Isn't he exactly the kind of horse you want to bet against? A
Who
horse
else
who's gonna
would have won
Well,
here?
he's a horse with absolutely no turf pedigree. That's going to be bet based on dirt races. Isn't that exactly the kind of horse you want to bet against?
Ordinarily, yes, but he's gonna be
Ordinarily,
in front.
you pick a lot of these horses that are short prices trying to turf for the first time.
He's going to be in front, and he's running against 3 horses that are coming back on very
He's
short
going to
rest.
be in
4
front
horses.
argument doesn't mean anything.
It does if he's running against horses that are coming back off short rest that might not be in peak form.
Okay, you and I will have to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Here's your horse Fresco that you think the public's going to be all over. I'm skeptical how much they're going to be all over. She ran fine last time, but Anthony, the field she beat. My
Dude,
God.
I got a third. You have a third too. I think she's going to take money.
I almost put her 4th, but
think
it's a
they're gonna look
little
at the
hard to take
barn.
turbo drive.
Yeah. I think they're going to look at the barn. It's the leading rider and the leading trainer.
Maybe. You're right. You're right. They're all taking a lot of money. You're
And
not
listen,
wrong.
there are enough sharp people that agree with you. I'm not one of them. That I'm not going to bet Dream Bigger off dirt form. I'm not going to bet Dream Bigger getting a mile on the
Anthony,
16th.
but they do bet these horses. They do. That's why David
We
has
haven't made
them
a lunch
2 to
bet in
1.
2 days. You want to do one lunch that Dream Bigger's a bigger price than Fresco?
Yes.
Okay.
I will take 5 shorter than 1 odds for 1 lunch. We're at 56.
Yep.
56. By the way, there's a number of people that want to know where they're having dinner with you after the bet I made you make
Where?
on the show. When?
When?
What was what were we joking? Oh, the movie, the Factotum. The movie's Factotum, by the way.
Oh yeah, they all they all wisely said when are we
Bukowski
going.
story.
They didn't even ask where. They were just like, when are we going to Nova?
Have you ever seen Barfly?
A long time ago,
Great
probably 25 years
One
ago.
lunch. Okay. Take a look at Turbo Drive. By the way, Irad rides a lot of short-priced horses.
This was amazing.
This was
Look what this horse is.
This was a
dead
great
last. No,
well,
next to last.
what he did was he said, "I'm riding a long shot. I'm going to stay on the rail and hope I get lucky." And lucky he got. He got a huge pace to close into. It worked out. But in this field, I won't be surprised when he runs well.
He found the only path that didn't have any real trouble in
amazing.
here. It's unbelievable.
But he put himself in the position to find that path.
And he always does because he saves ground.
Not always, but
Because
often.
he saves ground on the turf. He saves ground on both surfaces, but he always saves ground on the turf. And when you save ground, Jerry Bailey made a Hall of Fame career
That guy's career is over. What are we?
out
Jerry
of
Bailey?
saving ground on the
I heard
turf.
from Jerry the other day.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking during the show, I think, last Saturday.
Him and Susie getting involved with the BCCA,
BCCA
as
is
always.
their
right?
week, their
Our
virtual
virtual Racing for the Children virtual party's underway. You can check out Maggie's Twitter, Andy's Twitter, my Twitter. Go to the BCCA Twitter handle as well. Got a lot of fun stuff to bid on auction-wise.
I agree.
Yeah.
Great charity.
So-
Hope next year the Saratoga edition of the Anna House.
Make a
BCCA.
score, make a donation like my man Lee did.
Race number
Plenty
5.
of things to do. Plenty of things to do.
You just ruined it.
I didn't ruin it. Would
Yes,
you
you
stop?
did. You
Lee's
did.
the best.
Charity is something to be done anonymously, right, Anthony? The number 5 elusive ruler for Ian Wilkes, I don't know. I mean, on paper, how is this horse going to lose this race on paper? This is ridiculous.
I couldn't keep picking these
This is actually
chalks,
the
though.
maiden win May 2nd. I don't care. I understand. On paper, this horse is going to be an enormous, enormous favorite. And I don't know that Ian's really dropping him for 40. What's he supposed to do? How much is this horse worth?
Right. And you're going to keep finding allowance fields that he probably can't win.
Right.
Right?
Bring
I
out
mean,
Pierre and
he
run fourth
only
and
got
fifth.
beat 3 lengths by Grace Creek, but there's 3 horses between him and Grace
And
Creek.
I understand the impetus to put Swordsman there for Christophe Clement.
And that's what I did.
They tried the turf once. The horse was favored and didn't run a step. It's Clement. I put the horse second. The Rain running top, but this horse may not be able to run at all. And it's not
18
like the horse is
months.
going to be 15 to 1.
18 months, fresh gelding. Yeah, I mean, he was the alternative for me. No love for your boy Tickvin Flew, huh?
Well, we're going to. He has no chance in this race.
I know
We're
he
going to
does.
discuss him
No
in a
love.
second. He's the most mishandled horse I think I've ever seen in my life. He's a sprinter.
That was aggro.
I know he didn't run well that mile race. First of all, mile's a stretch for him. Around one turn, it rained that day. He doesn't like a wet track. Why is this horse never running in 7 furlongs, 6.5, 7?
I don't know. I don't want to train him.
I don't understand it. I just don't.
Cataract?
I don't think Teekman Flu's necessarily a bad horse. I just think he's been in the wrong race time after time after time after time after time after time after time. It's very frustrating.
One
It's not
more.
a 2-turn horse. It's frustrating. You
Cataract?
think I'm wrong?
No.
Cataract, yeah, but Cataract was in some hungry field last time out, though. You were right. Mandate did come back and beat a better field, and you liked Mandate a little bit that day.
Yeah.
And I thought you were crazy, and he did win for Todd.
I mean, I'm crazy, but I did like Mandate a little bit that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can call it a key race, but Bray's won a couple of races. Mandate came back to win.
No, Bray hasn't run a race since that
No,
race.
Bray in his career, I'm saying.
It was a hungry field.
Yeah.
But
I don't disagree.
In this field, he's the second likeliest winner.
Right, because Swordsman is the wild card.
I put Kid Chocolate fourth because I don't love for Steve Bick.
King's Honor was a little interesting to me, just a little bit, because the one time he went long, yeah, very little bit. The one time he went long, where he could win, he won. Right, he broke his maiden for 50. They ran him in a stakes race at Gulfstream. He ran into Sole Volante, and then they ran him going 7 last time in that weird race where Yes and Yes just dominated and nobody. Yeah, still too much hand. Where Yes and Yes dominated on the front end through pretty easy fractions. So I don't know. I thought maybe he was a little. I tell you what, on paper it looks like a elusive rule is supposed to win. But man, if you're playing pick 4s and pick 5s, you don't really want to be thin in that last race because he might be in for the tag for a reason. And if he is, I don't just want to be leaning
I'm not
on
at
him.
all concerned for him being attacked. Not even a little bit.
Okay.
I'm honestly not. Anyhow, it's been a pleasure. What are you doing today?
Very subdued today.
What are you
got
doing?
radio. I got 4 hours of radio and then dinner with you.
Oh, that's right. I can't wait for dinner.
Calm before the storm.
Oh, we're going to have a great time. You kidding me? I'm looking forward to it already.
I am too. I am as well.
Let's
finish up the Saturday work.
I'm looking forward to you joining Naira Bets. Supporting racing in New York. We will match up to $200 your initial deposit. Use the promo code SPA. Also, I encourage people to follow Naira Bets on Twitter. So much good stuff on the Naira Bets Twitter account. Follow them on Twitter. What do you have to lose?
Nothing.
There you go. Become a member of Naira Bets. Follow them on Twitter and participate through the app only in the $2,000 hit and split on the Late Pick 5 today and every Thursday. Details at nairabets.com. Also, mandatory payout in the Empire 6. I would only play it on a mandatory payout day. That'll be Sunday. Assuming there's over $1 million.
$1,080,000, by the way. $1,080,000.
We'll probably get close to 1.5 around then.
Well, I'm sure the Saturday pool is going to be gigantic, right?
So unless it's taken down, be $1.5 million or so in the carryover on Sunday. That's the mandatory payout. Also, what else we got going on, guys? The Sunday contests. Every Sunday here through Naira Bets. Must be a member of Naira Bets. $250 buy-in, all cash prizes. We'll seed the pool at $2,500. I want to get into that contest for charity. I want to put up the $250 in the off chance I cash the money to go to charity.
I like that.
Also, absolutely. What else? Oh, the show, Saratoga Live. Don't want to miss it. Every day, all day. Head over to naira.com/Saratoga Live for the schedule. We want to remind people we'll be on Big Fox for the Travers from 5 to 6:30 on Saturday. The team will be covering the Travers. The 151st running of the Run Happy Travers. Tis the Law. It's got to deal with Bob Baffert. It's the first time Tis the Law has had a race against a Bob Baffert horse. Think he knows?
No.
You don't think so? I don't either.
Can I be honest with you?
Please don't.
I don't think he would care.
Okay. On that note, the voice of New York racing, John Imbrial, up next with a reprise of the Scratches and Changes. Have a great day at Saratoga.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to Saratoga Racecourse. Mostly sunny skies. The temperature will approach 80 degrees this afternoon. The main track is fast. The turf courses are firm. Portable rails are up. 27 feet on the melon and 18 feet on the inner. Jackpot carryover in the Empire 6. $1,080,254. The Empire 6 begins today in race 4. Changes start in race 1. We have overweights in the opener. Number 5 is 3 pounds over, and numbers 3, 6, and 7 will be 1 pound over. In today's second race, scratch the 3, Malibu Mischief. Scratch number 3, Malibu Mischief, and numbers 4 and 5 are 2 pounds over. In the third race, we now have 2 scratches. In the third, scratch 3, Rodolfo, and 7, My Sacred Place. Third race, scratch numbers 3 and 7. The fourth race starts the Empire 6. We have these scratches in the fourth. Scratch 1, Dr. Shane. 3, Honorable Hero. Scratch 8, Curlin's Legacy. 9, Fleet Admiral. And 13, Stony Bennett. Scratch 1, 3, 8, 9, and 13 out of race 4. In the fifth, note that all horses will carry 1 pound over. And we have 2 scratches. Scratch 1A, Gone and Forgotten, and scratch 9, Ruby Stiletto. Scratch 1A and scratch 9 out of the fifth. Sixth race overweights, numbers 1 and 4 are 2 pounds over. We have no changes in the seventh. The eighth race. The Heidi Heidi Ho division, Cab Calloway division of the New York Stallion Series. Number 1 is 1 pound over. Numbers 2, 3, and 6 are 2 pounds over. And in the 9th race, scratch 2, Shiny Copper Penny, 11, The Rock Says, and 12, Polar Bear Pete. 9th race, scratch 2, 11, and 12, and note that number 8 is 2 pounds over. Fast and Firm, jackpot carryover, more than $1 million in the Empire 6. The opener